Damn, why is that so big? The screen so big. It's crazy. It's mad distracting.
What?
Is that enough? It be all in the way. Feel hot. What's going on, guys? Happy Wednesday.
What up? What up? Feliz miércoles.
Yes. Another week. I feel like this shit went by mad fast. Like, what the hell? What was that about?
All right, we're about to be in December. Well, we're about to get into Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I was about to say, after Halloween, it's damn near New Year's. Like,
It's gonna be October giving this.
it just be too much going on. What's going on with you? What's your thorn of the week? Because we're going to jump right into it because I'm kind of hungry. I should have ate. I was going to make something, but I was distracted doing something else. So I didn't get a chance to
I do got some
heat
healthy
up my
DiGiorno
food.
type pizza though.
Healthy DiGiorno type pizza. What does
Yeah.
that even mean?
It's healthy.
It's
Good.
healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Sure.
my thorn of the week. What is my thorn of the week? Yeah, the MTA was acting the fuck up on the way back to work, on the way back here for real.
What's going on with the MTA?
Somebody got hit by a train this afternoon during rush hour. I think it was a 5 or the 2 line and shit. So everything was fucked up on the 6, 4, 5, 2, 3, and 1 and shit.
Oh, that's what.
Yeah.
I was about to say, is the mic facing you? Because I hear a lot of static.
Yeah, it's right in front of me. You hear me?
I hear static.
Still?
Is the words facing you?
Yeah.
Or are the words, not is?
You said are the words?
Are the words on the microphone facing you?
No, it's not. Hold up a second. But yeah, that's my thorn of the week.
That's my thorn of the week. Did I talk about my closet break-in? Or was that on the phone?
Probably, but you can share with the classroom.
I feel like, did I talk? Wait, when did it happen? That's a question. I don't even remember how long ago it happened, but the bar in my closet broke. So that was my thorn of the week. Because I've been putting it off of cleaning out my closet because that was one of the places that I didn't really get to. I did like my drawers. I did a bunch of my sweaters that I had in storage bins. And I did like a lot of like my loungewear, old sweatpants, t-shirts, stuff like that. So like I purged a lot of those stuff, but I didn't get to my closet. And I had been putting it off. And then I want to say either yesterday or day before yesterday, the bar broke. Like it was already leaning. And I kind of, just was kind of ignoring it, taking my stuff off gently so that I didn't disturb it. But I was doing something.
You don't want to disturb it, like we're sleeping and shit.
Yeah, I didn't want to do, because it was like, it was hanging on by one screw, but it was fine. And it was just like, okay, well, as long as I'm not like rough putting stuff in or taking stuff out, it should be fine. But then I was doing something, and I guess I was removing stuff off of the bar, and then the whole bar collapsed. So that just kind of like ruined everything. So I just been staring at my clothes on my couch for like the longest because I just didn't have it in me to put the bar back up. Yesterday was my day off. I kind of just laid in bed all day just because I was tired. I don't even know why I was tired. Like, I don't know why I was exhausted, but I just literally laid around all day yesterday and I didn't get it done. And then
Some
today,
good self-care.
today I was getting ready to do it, and then my mom was like, my step pops is gonna do it. So I was like, all right, well, I'll let him do it then, since I don't have to at this point. But yeah, but for that to have happened, my rose of the week is that I actually did get a chance to go through my clothes. So I tried stuff on, things that don't fit. You know, I put one side so that I can, you know, some of them is going to get donated. Some of them got to go to the cleaners. And then some things I gave to like my mom because I couldn't fit them anymore. So just was finally able to get through my stuff. So now at least when it is fixed, it'll be a lighter load in the closet. So, I mean, I guess it was bittersweet. What about you? What was your rose of the week?
Rose of the week, I got a new dresser that I built up, so I did a lot of handyman work. You know, it's light work, so it was pretty productive and fun.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Fun because I kind of fucked up on one part of the metal parts of the drawer and shit. I put it the wrong way, so I had to go back and do all five on one side over again and shit.
That's good. See, I learned my lesson the hard way with building stuff is that if you're not going to at least look at if you're not going to read the instructions in totality, the least you can do is check it before you do everything. Like if you're going to do one drawer, check it first before you do it all, because ain't nothing worse than having to undo everything you just did just to do it over again. That should be so frustrating.
Now my ego, I mean, I read the instructions, but it was just my ego that got the best of me. I'm like, damn it. And then I'm like, fuck it, let me get this shit done. It was easy though. It was easy to flip it, switch it back either way though, so.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't too bad.
Why do I be forgetting to turn this light on? That's crazy. So this week, I know you had sent me that video of the Moynihan report, which is crazy because the dude I told you that was on that Jubilee thing, Julio.
Yeah, light-skinned, cross-eyed Steph Curry.
Our guest today on Meet the Press is the author.
I mean, I agree with his gold standard talk, though.
That was nuts. But yes, him. And so a part of his whole, I guess, like, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but a part of his whole thing on Clubhouse is basically based off of the Moynihan report. And he used to bring it up he always brings it up. Every debate, every conversation, he brings it up on TikTok. Like it's something that he's based a lot of his stances on.
But in what context does he mention it?
It always varies. It varies. I just know that he's mentioned it a number of times, and he claims to have read it.
But he's conservative, so I think it might be bad. I have a feeling it might be in bad faith.
Perhaps. I'm not 100% sure. So it never, but it like, as much as I was always curious about like what is the Moynihan report, what is the reason why this is substantial to any kind of conversation as it pertains to Black people, it just never made any sense. Mm-hmm. So the fact that this has been, this has only been on YouTube for 5 days. Okay, I thought this was an old video because I was like, why didn't I just look it up on YouTube?
The clip itself that you see here on the thumbnail, that's old, obviously, but
yeah. But what I'm saying is the people talking about it. Like it never dawned on me to look it up on YouTube. Like, let me see if anybody else on YouTube has ever talked about this before. But it just is interesting that a lot of people bring this up, and I'm always leery of white sociologists who call themselves wanting to study or have opinions on Black culture, because I never trust.
I mean, it's not really Black culture per se, because the Moynihan report was based off of like a census.
So it's a full. Oh, they have a full.
Who's Mr. B? That's the guy with the thing with all the stuff.
They have a full YouTube
Mr.
channel
Beast?
dedicated to them.
Is he our competition?
Right.
The biggest YouTuber in the world.
Interesting.
Okay. Hi, I'm Michael Moynihan, the host of the Moynihan Report. And if you want us to catch up with Mr. Beast, I don't know who that is, but
different
apparently
Oh, yeah, I
he's
think
huge.
this is another-
And we're gonna get up
so
there.
he stole
so
the
you go
name.
over to our
Okay,
YouTube
never
channel.
mind.
Did he? I mean,
He stole the name. Never mind. Yeah, it's a one-on-one interview program broadcast. Oh, okay, yeah, it's not the right one. Never mind. Okay, so let's see what this got going
The
on.
controversial study, The Negro Family, Mr. Daniel P. Moynihan. His report, prepared when he was Assistant Secretary of Labor, at first was warmly praised, yet has recently been sharply criticized. Mr. Moynihan, a professor of political science, is now at Wesleyan University.
Here's a quotation, for example, from a recent article by William Ryan, a Harvard psychologist, who criticizes your report in The Nation. And this is what he writes, quote, "The implicit point is that Negroes tolerate promiscuity, illegitimacy, one-parent families, welfare dependency, and everything else that is supposed to follow." Now, that's the criticism he makes of your report. Now, how do you answer those charges?
I can't. I'm not responsible for the fact that he can't read. As E. Franklin Frazier said, and I quoted from him in some length, there is a lot of evidence that the Negro middle-class family, when it gets its opportunity, gets a bearing, is, if anything, more stern, more rigid than most. But the evidence is simply clear. Negro Americans live like any other Americans, and when they're forced into the ghetto and forced into disorganization, they have no more better protections than anyone else.
I'd like to ask you one specific question, which the New York Times quotes you today as saying. You say that 44% of the children in Harlem are illegitimate. Now, how do you know that?
Those are statistics of the New York City Department of Health, sir. 10 health districts in central Harlem, the area which the great American sociologist Kenneth Clark described in his HRU report as having undergone a massive deterioration of the fabric of society and its institutions, and right under our prosperous noses that happened. That hasn't existed for 50 years. That's happened in the last 15 years in this America, and we've been sitting around thinking things have been getting better, and they haven't been getting better for those children.
The black community still clings to this idea that the majority of black men are deadbeat fathers. But the truth is, the data doesn't back that up. Over half of black men...
Oh, this is somebody else's video. Oh, Lord, I'm not in the mood for this. I'm not. I am not medicated enough for this.
now keep it cooking because he's cooking. The red pill community is going to be pissed off, and if you look at the comments,
I mean, but this is just ridiculous. This is just utterly ridiculous just from the premise of understanding what the situation was back then, right? Like, if you think about it, this was what, 1965, they said.
Yeah.
So you got to understand the financial opportunities that existed for black men back then were probably little to none.
yeah,
And then for black women, it's even less than that. So for this idea of, because according to the census, 44% of black households in Harlem at the time were reported to be single family homes. Given the context, how do you know they wasn't just lying to scam the government?
because I would tell you why, because it was cut out from government benefits.
In 65? I think they
Close to it.
I think
Close
they was
to it.
getting
'Cause
benefits in
So
65.
65 was around voting rights, civil rights, and stuff like that. So they just started getting those benefits. But during segregation, of course, they had to scam the government because they deliberately said, like, basically, black mothers weren't able to benefit from welfare if there was a man in the house.
Right, but this is the whole thing, right? Because I've heard that argument so many times. I've heard the argument of black women put black men out of the homes. I don't believe that by and large. I do not believe that by and large black women were kicking black men out the house to get the scraps of public assistance. And then also, I don't believe that they were just putting them out, because then where would all of these black men have gone? If all of these black men were getting put out of these homes, where did they go? And how is it that they also have the stereotype of having multiple families in the same area where kids are growing up across the street or around the corner or down the block from each other and not realizing they're siblings until the dad dies or some shit. So it's like all of these things can all be true at the same time, but logically the narrative doesn't make sense. If they were being put out of homes in replacement of government assistance, then where are all of these other kids coming from? So they're just going from home to home making kids and getting put out? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they weren't put out per se. They still lived in the home.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's the red pill argument, is that women have, by and large, and they say black women majority, which is incorrect, but they're saying women by and large were purposefully choosing to leave men out or put men out of the homes so that they could collect welfare, food stamps, government assistance, XYZ. So we know that can't be true. Then for people to say that, 44% of households in Harlem back then didn't have a man. Well, according to the census, yeah, if I'm going to collect benefits, and I'm only saying this because I've seen people do it in 2025. I mean, I will say 2025, but I've seen people do it where women are in these shelters or in these programs where men can't be there, but yet some way, somehow, a man is always there, to where when niggas is showing up to do their checks, they gotta hide shoes and hide PlayStations and get rid of clothes and all of that. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes. So just because it was reported at 44%, why do they think that it's true? That's the question that I would want to ask, is why do they think that was true?
Well, because, I mean, think about it. It's 1960s Harlem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there is some truth to it, because at the time, like, black people was living in poverty during that point in time. So the rate of
how when Harlem had its own Renaissance, Harlem has its own bourgeoisie community. Harlem has all of these, like, there is a part of, like, there is a history in Harlem that is very opulent. So where is this poverty coming from?
Poverty was there because black people lived. The poverty rate for black people was 55%, like, before the 60s. You're right. There was people that existed in Harlem, like you mentioned. Well, also there was other black people who was living in poverty, and there was, of course, addiction was going on during that time and everything. And of course, incarceration rates obviously was a thing back then too. So that rate is not far fetched. That statistic is not too far-fetched.
I suppose.
54% have never fathered a child. And among those who do, the majority live with and actively raise their kids.
And that's also a lie, too. That 54% is accounting for men, I think it's like 18 or 16.
Wait, run that back.
To what you call it.
54% before?
Basically saying the percentage of men who don't have children. 54, over half of black men, 54% never had children. That's ages 15 to something else. Once you get to actual adult ages, which is 21 and up, the number of men with kids significantly rises. So again, it's just misappropriating stats. Black men who have never fathered children, 46%. White men who have never fathered children, 43%. So it's damn near the same thing.
No, the 55%.
A 3% difference is not a fucking difference.
No, the 55% of black men fathering children, that's the highest among any group of fathers in America. That's definitely true.
No, it's not.
It is. It's true.
Fatherhood by race and age. That is incorrect. And I know this because of Clubhouse, funny enough, because they've had this argument so many fucking times. So many fucking times. Where's that damn thing? So that 50-something%. Oh, this is when they become dads. Damn, where's the other one? Where's that other? Yeah, it's another. Is it this one? Share of fathers with non-marital births. Oh yeah, that's another thing. It's usually a educational thing, not a age or race thing, but that's another conversation. But where is it's the actual stat that they bring it up to where it's like most men, when they say men who don't have kids and they have that 50 something %, it's usually because they're counting men with Hispanic parent. Oh no. Damn it. Where is it? I can't find. I'm gonna have to look for it another day, and I'll probably enter it at a later time. But it's another basically it's a misappropriation of the statistics.
But either way, it kills the narrative that black men don't father their children. That kills that narrative either way. And that's a narrative. That's
not true either, because the involvement conversation comes from, I think it was based on like black men who help their kids with their homework, pick up and drop off at school, and I think it was something to do with like sports.
Yeah, who's active in their life.
Right, but that's not active in your life because you pick me up and drop me off from school. That's not active in my life because you show up to a game. Active in the life means, to me, in the house with the child on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, even in that context, it's accurate.
It may have gone up, but I don't believe that it's always. I will say I do believe it has gone up, especially with millennial fathers, just because a lot of millennial fathers grew up without their fathers, and so they all kind of like made the vow to be better dads than their dads were to them.
I got some homies I tell, like, yo, you better be a good father to this kid or else, nigga.
So it definitely, makes sense why the numbers may have gotten higher. But see, this is also another problem. It's because we're looking at stats for a generation that
but that's the generation that usually they pull up stats from the 1980s, and we already know what happened in that point in that era in time. That was the crack at the time.
No, what I'm saying is the narrative of black men not being active fathers came from a time where black men were not active fathers. But now that the children of those non-active fathers have done the work to make up for that, now they want to look back and say that the previous stat is incorrect. And that's not how that works. Because the reason why a lot of them are good fathers now is because that stat was real. It is what it is. I don't know what those men were doing. I don't know what them niggas was doing, why they wasn't being good fathers. I don't know. And you could blame the mothers. You could blame child support. You could blame family court. Let me not say blame. Let me say you can attribute it to incarceration. You could attribute it to drugs. You could attribute it to child support. You could attribute it to custody battles. You could attribute it to so many things. But the fact still remains that the niggas weren't there. That's it. That's fair. That's it.
That is fair.
So now to want to undo all of these things, I don't think you can undo it. Talk about now. Talk about, well, that may have been the narrative before, but we're changing the narrative now. But to constantly keep pointing back and saying those women were wrong for saying that. No, they were not. Because everyone grew up with a kid who didn't have a father around. Everybody. Any millennial, let me say that. Millennials as a whole have grown up knowing multiple people who dads were not around. It was not uncommon. It was not uncommon. It was not uncommon for millennials who even did have their dads, that the dads were not active. They were just there.
And there's millennials who didn't have either.
I mean, there's that too.
Because I got a lot of people who
there's
a lot of
too.
people I know who grew up who were adopted, basically. or live or
Actually, I
raised
think
by
I'm
grandparents.
Well, yeah, I know kids who were raised by their grandparents, but I think I've only known one person who was like formally adopted, like was not related to the two. I know two guys who were formally adopted by people who were not their parents.
Yeah, I know one. As I think I mentioned to you, my homie. His mom was a fiend, unfortunately, so he was raised by a pastor and his wife, who adopted him basically, and he met his biological siblings years later and all that. So.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. But it's just this idea that to sit here and say, oh, all of this is a lie, it was not a lie. Like, do you know that black men and white men have fathered almost the same amount of children? Yes, but the white men were married.
No, they weren't.
4%
Not all of them
have never fathered a child. And among those who do, the majority
We
live
just
with
seen
and
it.
actively raise their kids. So why are we still holding on to this stereotype? Why won't we let it go?
And
To
where's the
answer
one
that,
about
let's go
marriage?
back in time.
Where's the one about if they were married or not?
Build a website you
Damn
love
it.
with Wix,
Wait, is there an app going on?
Yeah.
where your words create your brand.
I
Your
just seen it. But it was like
Your
they were
breakthrough.
married versus not married. Damn it.
Feeling a vibe? Run with it. From Can't Look Away.
Anyway.
What we gonna do right here is go back. Way back. Back into time.
Just like your daddy. You don't do shit, and you never gonna amount to shit.
In 1965, the U.S. government released a report titled The Negro Family, the Case for National Action, or better known as the Moynihan Report. Written by Daniel Patrick Moynihan, it argued that the problems in the black community stem from a tangle of pathology created by absent black fathers and a so-called matriarchal family structure. Now here's the problem. This report wasn't a deep sociological study. It was a political document written during the civil rights era, and it shifted blame away from systemic racism and onto the black family itself. The report told America, and unfortunately convinced many of us, that black men weren't present, that black men didn't care for their children, and that the black family was broken because of them. And from there, the media took that narrative and ran with it.
James, no! Damn!
When it comes to 4-year-old Shania, Joey, you are not.
You ain't shit. You just like your daddy. You don't do shit, and you never gonna amount to shit.
It was great seeing you, son.
You too. Lou? How come you don't want me, man?
Day is here also, and we also have 5 other men. These men collect.
Now, you want to sit here and tell me that you're going to include this clip where it was 6 men who fathered, I think it was like 54 kids between the 6 of them. This one man, this is his whole lineage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 baby mothers. 17. And you want to sit here and use this and say that black men were in you gonna make the claim that he's present in all 17 of these homes?
No.
He's an active father in all of these homes?
No, I mean...
Is this the shit you telling me?
Not at all. But this also highlights the negative stereotypes against black men.
How is it a stereotype when the nigga did it? How is it a negative? There's a reel on Instagram right now of all the Jamaican reggae artists who have done similar things where they talk about how many, and it's disgusting. As a Jamaican, it's disgusting. Having 38 kids, 27 kids, 17 baby mothers, 16, 10, Nick Cannon, fucking Cam Newton, all of these niggas who have absolutely no qualms about fathering all of these random. It's post-traumatic slave disorder. Y'all are still breeders in y'all minds.
And they're upholding a negative stereotype.
It's not a stereotype when it's happening.
But people, again, white people know who Nick Cannon is. They're gonna be like, oh, he's just like the rest of them. Father and all these kids were different women. That's the stereotype right there. You don't see the correlation there?
I do not. Because look at Elon Musk, for instance, right? He himself is also a baby father. People tend to forget that. I don't know why.
Because he's rich, that's why.
I mean, Nick Cannon is rich. All them other niggas is rich.
And he's white.
I just don't understand why people never hold him to that same
Because he's white. That's why.
But
it's because he's white.
So do you mean? So all right, let me ask this then. And this is not to cape for white people and by damn sure not to cape for white men. But where is the white male equivalent?
They're out there
of this.
Remember, white people are the majority in this country, and there's a lot of poor white people in this country that literally do the same shit as black people. They fought the kids.
17 baby mothers, 20, 30 something kids. Yes. There's a white man out here doing that.
Yes, and you know how many white inbreds exist that do that shit? Of course there is. Especially
17 baby mothers, 30 something. I know of. This is just what I've seen. You have the Mormons where they may have 4 or 5 wives, 3 or 4. I think they average somewhere around 2 and 4 wives, and they will have a lot of kids. Then you have like them white farm people where they'll be a married couple and they'll produce 13, 14, 15 kids.
And they might be cousins or sisters and brothers.
But to this level of debauchery, where it's 17 women, 30 something kids, you're telling me there's a white population of people living like that and nobody has found them to say nothing about it?
They're not presented in media like that compared to this. That's what I'm saying. This puts black people in a negative light is what I'm saying. When there's white people that exist like this is what I'm saying. And it doesn't get highlighted like this. And it's the same thing with the single mother argument. You know how many white single mothers are out here and also welfare queens who are white? Come on.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking specifically about the argument of black men are not. What did he say?
He's claiming that they're not present or something like that.
How are you present and I'm not saying every black man is living this either. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that this is every black man's reality. But what I'm saying is this is a level that I've only ever seen. And mind you, this Iyanla Vanzant thing only came out a couple years ago. This was unheard of. Like, I didn't know nothing about men living like this before this came out. So to me, it's not a stereotype that they're living like this. It's a stereotype of, yes, there are people who there are people who I know who their father left their family and then went and started another family with somebody else and then did not include them. That happens so many times. Because the father didn't work out with the mother, they left, started over. Look at fucking Brian McKnight. He does not acknowledge his original set of kids. But he's so gung-ho about the new set. 50 Cent, as much as I love that man, he's another one.
I mean, there's a lot wrong with 50 Cent, but that's another conversation.
He's another one. He treats his eldest son like crap, but the little mixed one, the little half Filipino one, loves him to death. So we can't sit here and say it's a negative stereotype when niggas actually were doing it.
And they're reinforcing it.
How do you...
They reinforce it. That is definitely a fact. They reinforce that shit.
So reinforcing it is making it known. Reinforcing it is discussing it. That's what y'all are considering reinforcement?
I mean, it's in media, is what I'm saying. And
so because it happens and we talk about it in media, that automatically means that we're reinforcing it.
Yes, there's people who do actually reinforce this shit. That's definitely a fact.
So why doesn't that work against the negative stereotypes about white people?
Because white supremacy. That's why.
So then wouldn't white supremacy be the reason why no matter what the stereotype is about black people, it's always going to be seen as that because of white supremacy? It doesn't matter what we put in media. Even if they didn't see it, they would still think this. Like the whole argument against respectability politics. When people are like, oh, if black women would stop twerking at brunch and if black women would stop wearing colorful wigs and blah, blah, blah. When black people were in suits and pressed their hair to get rid of their kinks, they still thought that we were uncivilized. They still thought that we were dumb. They still thought that we were at the bottom of the barrel. So it doesn't matter what we present, their idea and feelings are going to be their idea and feelings. So rather than argue against the reinforcement of negative stereotypes, how about you address these niggas that's doing this shit? How about that? Because if it wasn't there to be used as reinforcement, then what would the excuse then be?
I mean, all I can say is the Willie Lynch theory is a real thing. And a lot of black people perpetuate that shit.
I mean, yeah. But it's just this in particular pissed me off.
87 children.
87 between 6.
Different women.
With 50 different women.
That is 137 people.
No, it's like 8. It was like 8 men.
By choices and decisions that you've made. No heat, no judgment.
Sitcoms, news specials, and Hollywood all reinforce the image of the absent, irresponsible black dad. So by the time the actual research started to show otherwise, the stereotype
hold on. What is it?
Of the absent, irresponsible black dad. So by the time
fathers' involvement with their children, United States, 2006 to 2010. So that's you. I think this might be all of the, and this was in 2013. Damn, how old was I in 2013? How many years ago was that? 12? So 20 something. So this is basically, I guess, millennials and Gen X parents that were involved in this statistic.
Yeah, you're right. I would say late Gen X millennials.
So the review found that children whose fathers assumed 40% or more of the family's care tax has better.
Time the actual research started to show otherwise.
In 2018, a study of non-marital birth mothers reported that black fathers shared responsibilities more frequently and displayed more effective co-parenting than Hispanic. Right. In 2018. Mm-hmm. So a narrative that existed from before 2018, you're now trying to say is incorrect, all because niggas are overcorrecting now?
Yes.
That's wrong.
How's it wrong? That's like saying the 70% of kids who were born from single mothers resorting to crime. That's an old statistic. It's a far lower number than it is now.
Right. It's an old statistic, but it speaks to a time when that was true.
That's the same thing with this.
It's not.
How?
Because the whole point is, he just showed Maury, which was all the 90s and early 2000s, which is before this new stat came out. Mm-hmm. He showed Ayanna Van Zant, which majority of those kids that was shown on that little chart are older than this stat. Mm-hmm. So that means that those men fathered those children before 2018. Mm-hmm. And then there was another clip that he also showed, which was before the renewing of this stat. So you cannot use a new stat to undo granted, should they stop saying it now? Yes.
People believe that old narrative when this right here is what's going on.
And I guess that would be unfair, yes, if they're gonna still keep saying it. but they're speaking from a time when it was true. I don't think that they're saying that. A part of me feels like it's just. Matter of fact, I'm
let her run.
I'm away.
Stereotype had already become ingrained in our collective.
I had the same argument with
So when
a
you
homie
hear
of
people
mine.
say black men don't raise their kids, they're not quoting facts, they're quoting history. They're repeating a narrative rooted in a 1965 government report.
And that's the point. So now, because it's no longer true, and because y'all just now are starting to get it together, so now we're supposed to just let it go?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Because
Not
it's a positive
modern
thing.
reality. Now, let's fast forward to today. What do the numbers actually say? Again, 54% of black men have never fathered children, so that means more than...
And that's 54% between the ages of 16 and 40 something. I hope he shows
half
that.
aren't even in the conversation. So we can push them to the side and focus on the black men who are fathers. And within that 46%, 55%
only co-residential. So black men are the least likely to live under the same roof as their kids. Least likely. Every other race of men.
What does it say least likely?
Only co-residential, meaning that they live with the kid.
Yeah.
They're the least out of every other man, the least to live with their kids. The least to live with the kids. So you could co-parent all day, but you're not in the home. You could do pickup and drop-offs. You could do weekends and every other holiday, but you're not in the homes. So to say that the narrative is so incorrect, but y'all are the least likely to be living under the same roof, still enforces the same old narrative.
I disagree. What? Run it back again, because I missed that part.
focus on the black men who are fathers. And within that 46%, 55% live with all of their children 100% of the time.
55% of them, compared to 85% of white men, 73% of Hispanic men, and 78% of every other race.
For further context, though, white and Hispanic men are a larger population than black people. You gotta put that into consideration as well.
It's of the population.
But yeah, again,
it's of their particular population of black fathers. Of the whole entire population of black fathers, only half of them live in the homes with their children.
Well, more than half of them. But again, the largest population, obviously, 85% is going to, for white people, is going to be obvious because they're the largest population.
No, that's not how that works. That's not how that, it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 black men here and 3,000 white men here. 85% of that 3,000 is still living in the home.
But they're the majority.
That doesn't make sense.
It does. Remember, the U.S. Remember, black people are 13% of the population. Latinos are second. White.
You're not understanding.
What?
These are This is out of 100%. No matter what this 100% is,
okay,
this is out of 100. So if it's only 1,000 black men that are fathers, or let me say 100. If it's only 100 black men that are fathers, that means 55 out of that 100 live at home with their children. If it's 3,000 or 300 white men, 85% of 300 is still more than 55% of 100. That is how stats work.
Right.
So it does not matter who's the majority.
It absolutely, if it's the U.S., it absolutely does.
Why?
Who's the largest population?
No. I want you to critically think about this. Why does it matter what the 100% is if the percentage is still higher? 55% of 100 is still going to be less than 85% of 300. That's just the fact.
Okay.
So the fact of the matter is more men of other races live in the homes with their children when compared to black men. Period.
But who has more privilege?
What the fuck does privilege have to do with anything?
Do white men have more privilege than any other race in this country?
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. And then
what does that have to do with anything?
It has a lot to do with it. Of course, white men don't got to deal with what black men got to deal with every day in this country.
What do black men have to deal with that keeps them from being with the children, the mothers of their children, and being under the same roof with all of their kids?
I mean, it could be different things. It could be poverty. It could be drugs, like you said. It could be incarceration. Most white people don't deal with that shit.
Again, but that's not what, again, that is not what this stat is. This stat has nothing to do with that.
I mean,
this stat is simply of all the men that are fathers, how many of said fathers live in the home, don't live in the home. That is it. It has nothing to do with if they're on drugs or if they're, that has not simply, or maybe it does have to do with if they're on drugs.
You got also got
maybe it has to do if they're on drugs.
You have to consider that because that's part of the context of this. You can't.
Let me
just look
see.
at this
I want to see what this co-residential fathers with minor children, because that's also another part of it. Like he cut the co-residential. What the hell? Co-residential fathers with minor children. Okay, let's see what it actually says. With the decoupling of fatherhood and marriage and the growth of step families, fathers do not always reside with their biological or adopted children. Previous profiles have explored fathers with resident minor children, and this profile centers on fathers' parenting experiences by comparing fathers co-residing part-time or full-time with their children versus those who are not. We distinguish fathers with only co-residential, only non-residential, or both co- and non-residential children. Okay, so fathers who have only kids that live with them, only kids that do not live with them, or fathers who have both kids that live and don't live with them. So that's what this is separating. Kids that own, fathers that all of their kids live with them, fathers that their biological kids don't live with them, and then they father kids that both live and don't live. So even still, black men are the most likely to have kids that don't live and live with them.
I would like to know what the percentage is before this.
Oh, that's going to be in there too, because they're going to tell you. So this is of all. Majority of fathers live with their kids. A smaller percentage of fathers, their kids don't live with them. And then even smaller have both kids in and out. So it says 1 in 10 fathers had both co-residential and non-co-residential under 18, signaling that fathers likely had parenting responsibilities spanning 2 or more households. 1 in 8 of fathers only had non-residential children, indicated that they did not live with any of their biological or adopted children. And over 3/4 reported of having only co-residential, meaning just over 1 in 5 were living apart from at least one of their children. Among the fathers with less than a high school education, 63% of them had only co-residential, 23 had non-co-residential, and 14 had both. And then fathers with a college degree, that goes up. 89% of them live with And that's the real argument, is that people who go to college tend to make better family choices. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I mean, teenage pregnancy's real.
So yeah, so majority of the ones who are only co-residential tend to have most of their kids all under the same roof, and with high school education or less, it's about 63%. So that makes about sense. So fathers co-residential with children by marital status. So when you're married, you're more likely to have all your kids under one roof, which is why I said earlier, white people who do have a lot of kids, they tend to be married to the person they have a lot of kids with. They're not just out here from what I've seen, they don't just be out here having 17 baby mothers and a bunch of fucking kids. I don't see it.
I mean, again,
I don't see it.
You can also say that they're the privileged ones.
I mean, I guess, but how privileged do you have to be to get married? Marriage is available to everybody.
I mean, but yeah, marriage can be expensive too.
No, it's not. Going to the courthouse is $70-something.
I mean, yeah, but again, some people don't. Those who don't go to the courthouse.
There's no reason why you have to go to the courthouse regardless, because you got to get your marriage certificate at the courthouse. So nothing stops you from getting married at the courthouse if you truly want to have a family and build and be a family and just go to the courthouse. True. You can save up for you can save up for the party. You can save up for a vow renewal. You can do whatever the hell else you want to do. But if you value and if you value marriage, you're gonna get married. Point blank. Period. And unfortunately, a majority. What is it? Where is it? A majority of black fathers. Only over a quarter of them report having residential children, and almost a fifth of them had both non and co-residential children, because y'all are not getting married. And that's really what it boils down to, is that for whatever reason,
I mean, common law exists in certain states,
but that's bullshit.
I mean,
that's fucking. But what do you mean? So you gonna sit with somebody for 10 years, no commitment, and just rely on common law for what?
I mean,
if you're gonna sit around with them for 10 years, why not be married for those 10 years? If y'all break up after 10 years, oh fucking well.
I mean, people be together for 35 years and not get married.
Which is dumb, because why? What are you there for? What are you there for 30-something years and y'all don't want to get married? That's dumb.
I mean, if you got multiple kids.
That's dumb.
I mean, but again, those people do exist out there.
And those people, and I believe that those people are dumb. I'm sorry.
I disagree with
I want to know where the numbers are, though. The data source comes from National Center for Health Statistics, National Survey of Family Growth, Public Use Data and Documentation. I'm just going to tell you where the numbers came from. Yeah, see, I don't like that. They're not telling you where the numbers came from. At the end of the day, you can't sit here and make the argument that, you know, we're supposed to just get rid of a whole history of what black men used to be as fathers, when, yes, there has been progress made, but in the overwhelming majority of what's going on in the world, the progress is still lackluster.
But again,
it's still lackluster.
No, I disagree with that, because that progress should be applauded. Is what I'm saying. That progress should be respected.
Applauding them for doing what they should have been fucking doing the whole time? Are you crazy?
Racism happened in this country, so I'm just saying.
What does racism have to do with people not?
Literally a lot. Literally a lot.
What does racism have to do with black men fathering children in multiple homes? How does racism contribute to that?
How many black men are incarcerated right now that are fathers? What's the percentage on that?
I don't know. But what does incarceration have to do with black men fathering children in multiple households?
I mean, multiple households? I don't know. I can't speak on that, but what I can speak on,
but that's the question. What does racism have to do with black fathers having children in multiple households.
Well, poverty. That's one for sure.
How does poverty contribute to that?
Education. When there's poverty, there's a lack of education. You do reckless shit. Like having multiple baby moms and shit. Yes or no?
So it is racism's fault.
Yeah, it's a systemic racism. Like that's something you literally can't dismiss out of this whole equation. And downplaying that is fucking crazy. And imagine what the numbers are from 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So you gotta respect the progress right there. And then when it comes to like demonizing single moms too, it's the same thing too. You know, so
some of their children, and 26% don't live with any of their children. However, that does not mean that they are deadbeat dads. So, when you focus on the fathers only, the majority of black dads are raising their kids. The deadbeat narrative does not hold up. But if you zoom out and look at all black men, that translates to 25%.
Only 25% of black men live with all of their kids. That means majority of black men with children do not live with their kids.
look up what's the population of black men in America. I want to know that.
Well, you would have to say the population of black fathers.
Yeah.
Population of black fathers in America. 1.18 million. Wait, the population included approximate with a single father and over 5.3 million black children living with a resident father, which is probably like a stepdad. But that's not what I just want to know. How many black men are dads? That's it. Like, why y'all be making shit so difficult?
I mean, it's a country of 300 million people. I mean,
oh my God, this is not. I just want to know how many black men have kids.
probably Gemini would give it a.
I don't feel like killing any leaks today. But it still doesn't matter, because why is it that of all children, 70% of them live with their parent, with two parents, but only 42% of black children get to live with two parents? Why are black? I'm not saying that black men deserve to be demonized for the narratives of yesteryear. I am just not jumping on the bandwagon of applauding fish for swimming. Y'all are supposed to be in y'all kids' lives. Just because y'all have finally got it together now does not take away from the fact that there's still a lot of work to be done. A lot. Granted, yes, the good dads that are out there, absolutely, give them all the praises. The men who've married women and have only had children with their women, those are the ones who deserve the praise. Not the niggas who finally figured it out, or they fucked up with the first family, so they got it together for the second family. I'm not applauding them niggas. I'm sorry.
No, me neither. I'm just saying they're problematic. I agree with that. But I'm just saying the black fathers who are there as a whole, they should be applauded more. Not these idiots on Maury's. What I'm saying.
But applauded compared to what? When they're the minority, it doesn't matter. They're the minority. The niggas who's doing right is still the minority.
You're right. They're still the minority.
So why can't we talk about men, black men as a whole, just because of this one minority of?
Because black men are not a monolith, is what I'm saying,
bro.
Living with all of their kids, 8% living with some, and 12% not living with any. But the sharper truth is this: when black men become fathers, most of them step up, which means the majority of them. And I know you're probably asking, so if the stereotype is false, what's the real issue? It's non-marital childbearing, or in other words, children out of wedlock.
Exactly.
According to the CDC and the NCHS, 61% of black women have mothered at least one child, and 69.3% of those births occurred outside of marriage.
Exactly. That's the whole point. I don't give a fuck how many pickups and drop-offs you want to do to be active. Why are you so okay with having multiple kids with multiple women and only dealing with them when you see fit? That is the problem.
That means the majority of births in the black community aren't happening within marriage, and often with the same small percentage of men. Not just black men, all men. And it doesn't stop there. The CDC's 2022 abortion surveillance report shows that non-Hispanic black women accounted for 39.5% of all abortions, which is the highest percentage among any racial group.
Right, because black women have been proponents of the narrative that you have a kid with a man that would be in your own race. He's not going to marry you. He may or may not be a deadbeat, and you may have to end up doing it all on your own. So those women said, what? I don't want to do that. I'm going to terminate the pregnancy to not become another. They traded one statistic for another statistic, and I don't think it's fair to demonize women for aborting pregnancies to men who were non-committal in the first fucking place. I don't think that that's right at all.
No, I agree, but also that it happens in their teenage pregnancy is a real thing. That's also a large component of it as well.
I'm pretty sure.
That's what
I'm pretty sure those numbers are definitely inflated for teenage pregnancies. But I just can't see how you can fault a woman for saying, okay, if I can't force a man to be a father, I can't force a man to marry me, I can't force a man to be under the same roof as me, but now I find myself in a position to where I am with child, I can't make him do anything, I'm going to get rid of it. How do you get mad at somebody for that?
I mean,
and how do you demonize somebody for that?
I mean, no.
But this is what he's doing.
And that's despite black women making up just 13% of the female population. In that same year, black women had over 239,000 abortions, averaging about 657 a day, or about 27 every single hour.
So what?
What?
So what? Why does this need to be discussed? Why? This is the answer to the previous stat. Where is it at? Not this. Where is it at? This is the answer to this. If only 55% of fathers is living under the same roof, that means that 45% of them, that means the mothers of 45% of these children are single mothers. If you don't want to be a part of the 45%, which is a large fucking percentage of mothers compared to every other race of mothers, then why talk about...
Is that accurate?
I mean, I guess it's...
look up the single mothers metric, if anything.
Let's see. Single motherhood by race.
I'm not sure if they're the largest.
I do believe they are. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh my gosh, what the hell? Yeah. Black woman baby. I'm sorry. I am more likely than any other mother to be a single mother. I don't like those odds. I do not like those odds. So to then now want to demonize me with the stats of 108 black child deletions every 4 hours. So fucking what?
No, but let him continue.
So we're not just looking at the children being born outside of marriage, we're also looking at a disproportionate number of pregnancies ending before birth. That's the bigger picture. And again,
Why is that the bigger picture?
Let him continue.
If the truth is so clear, why won't the community let go of the deadbeat myth? Continuing the deadbeat dad narrative, it deflects accountability. By blaming black men exclusively, we avoid examining the real issue: who women are choosing to procreate with. Many black women are having children outside of marriage with a small subset of men and repeating the cycle that feeds into the stereotype. It sells. Social media thrives on outrage. Saying black men ain't shit or black men are trash drives clicks, comments, and engagement.
I've never seen an unhappy black woman with a fine-ass white man. I've never seen it. And we could talk about it more. Because the ones that be happy as hell with their white man, they be getting everything that they want. And that's gonna be me next. Happily in love, living a life, they man spoiling them. They just over there. Where do I get at? I'm at the point where I'm sick of you niggas. Like, I am. Y'all give nothing no more. So I'm dating out of my comfort zone now, and I'm gonna get me a Caucasian man.
I am so effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating black men.
Black men, y'all need to do better. Y'all really need to do better. There is no reason why I should have a white man, a 6'2", 220, white collar, blue jeans and white sneakers wearing white man sit right in my face, look me dead in my eyes, didn't blink or stutter not nail one time, and tell me that he cannot understand for the life of him how a black man who looks homeless has the audacity or the courage to approach a black woman.
Bruh.
There are a lot of black men who voted for Kamala, and they believe that voting for Kamala was somehow going to fix the gender divide between black men and black women. And
Who
I'm
the
here
fuck
to
thought
tell
that
you
shit?
that that's not gonna happen. We were divested from y'all way before this election. Leave
Bruh.
us alone. So I just wanted to make that very clear. That if
These
we
bitches
were not
is making my
fucking
head
with y'all
hurt.
Before the election,
I ain't even gonna.
I feel like they front on just for social media type shit.
And also,
And he picked these women on purpose.
No, but let him.
He picked these people on purpose.
it validates pain. For women who've had bad experiences, the stereotype feels like protection. It turns personal pain into a communal truth. Or in other words, it encourages trauma bonding amongst black women. It protects power. Politicians, activists, and media outlets gain leverage by keeping fatherlessness as the scapegoat.
Fatherlessness, and that there's this epidemic in the black community of fatherlessness. But to date, what have you done to combat fatherlessness in the black community?
Okay, so you're accepting that we have an issue with fatherlessness in the black community. You're accepting that. I
That's what I disagree
actually
with.
don't. But
I'm
go ahead.
not. You said
Okay,
that.
I didn't
and
know, but you
I'm saying
said that.
because
I didn't think so. So you're not accepting it, and you're asking me, what am I doing about something that you
Well,
don't
no,
accept?
no, you're my
Larry,
it's,
answer the
my
damn
question.
question.
It's your campaign, Larry. Larry, this is your campaign. Your campaign is about fatherlessness. I'm asking you I'm giving you the floor to talk about how you have combat fatherlessness because you say it is such an issue in this country, and you don't want to answer the question.
I'm happy to answer the question, provided that you acknowledge that there is a problem.
Larry, get the fuck out of here.
Shifting the focus to marital and procreation patterns forces accountability across the board and also threatens that power. But if we want to break the cycle, we also have to address the solutions, especially for the 39% of black women who don't have children yet. Those women still have choices to protect themselves from becoming another out-of-wedlock statistic. Here's a couple of solutions for building better outcomes for black women in our families. Number 1, marriage before children. The single strongest way to reduce non-marital births is...
And that is why so many women have had pregnancy terminations because they are not married.
That and they can't afford the child.
I mean, yeah, there's that too. There's definitely that too.
Yeah.
And you cannot force a man to marry you. Like I like the whole Ebony K. Williams thing, which granted, I don't necessarily wholeheartedly agree with her stance, because I do believe that if you are a woman of a certain status and you've accumulated a certain amount of wealth for yourself, I personally don't believe that you need to find a man that is equal or better. I do believe that if you are a woman who has experienced a certain level of success on your own, all you need to be vetting dudes for is for their authenticity and for them to truly be with you. Don't just pick any nigga like a Nicki Minaj, unfortunately. Who she just picked up her old nigga from way back when.
That goofy ass
even
nigga.
Though, you know what I mean? Like,
well, she's goofy too, but
I mean, very much so. But again, it's just this idea of if I can't find someone equal or better, then I'm just not going to pick anybody. Yeah. I do think that some women do themselves a disservice when they do that. But it's not to say that you just pick up any old man just because he's eligible and because he is cool. Because it's just this idea of like, I guess where my frustration comes from. Because he did mention it too. It's like, oh, women are having babies with all the men, all the same kind of men and blah, 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 blah. And most of these, my thing is like, if it's something, and I think I told you this the other night, if it is something that you see women, majority of women value in a man, it would behoove you to acquire those things. Whether it's personality traits, whether it's materialistic things, whether it's access to things, it would behoove you to also become like the men who they like. And you don't have to be an asshole about it. Like, my whole argument is usually, and I used to have this argument with men on Clubhouse all the time. Like the men who used to be like, oh, y'all all want the same type of man, y'all all want blah, blah, blah. That's dumb. I mean, to a certain extent, it is true. Majority of women want a man who can provide them stability, security, who can garner the respect of other men, who have a certain level of masculinity about them, and who makes her feel a certain type of way. If I have to break it down into just those overall categories.
I see the vision. I know what you mean.
So it doesn't make sense to want to argue with what women like. It would just make sense for you to become what women like. Like, again.
It's like, shut the fuck up and stop being a bitch and do it.
So for the men who want to complain about height, okay, fine. I do understand some women do tend to be a little crazy with the height requirements. It don't be making sense all the time. That I can get. Listen, I never understood that, but I could get it.
All I can mention is Kendrick Lamar and Prince. And Nas.
That's fair. That is fair because there are short men who are out here. I don't want to say having their way, but there are short men who
life energy.
Yeah, right. But that's because they worked on themselves, their personalities. They worked on their level of charisma, how they relate to people. They've worked on building that level of respect from other men. Because it's not just okay for a woman to have a man. Because then they're going to say, well, what does your man look like?
Yeah.
How much money does your man make? How tough is he? How respected is he? It's so many things that it's like, it's not enough just to say, oh, I have a man. He has to be a certain kind of man. And even more so if she's a certain kind of, like me personally, I can't just be with any man. Like, my friends ain't having it. My family ain't having it. I'm not having it. So to me, it's like, I can't just be with anybody. It takes a specific type of somebody. And if I can't find that somebody, then that's a whole nother argument. But it's just like, okay, fine. Like, do you then, as a woman, do you then just settle for any man and just have any man?
I think settling as a whole is the worst thing you can do.
But everybody settles. I mean,
unfortunately, and that's the problem that people don't. That's like the biggest elephant in the room that people don't want to address or acknowledge.
Yeah, because it's the idea of settling. Because to me,
because people are afraid of being alone rather than embracing that shit.
Because to me, I've always said that I want to level myself up enough to wherever I eventually settle down at is still comfortable. Like, if I can't have my power couple relationship, at least the relationship I end up with is comfortable. I will say that. And I guess the older I get, the more clear that level of comfortability becomes. But there still are things where it's like, I don't really know if I could just be like, all right, well, let me just take anybody. Like, I don't know if I can ever get to that point. And unfortunately, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but unfortunately, a lot of men fall into that just anybody category. Like, there's a whole thing right now. I think I got it in my Instagram. There's a thing right now where there's a dude on Love is Blind. One of the first things the nigga said in his interview for Love is Blind is, I eat my boogers.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And if there's a woman that's supposed to pick him because he's a good man, and he just went on fucking TV telling everybody that he eats his fucking boogers.
That's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man.
A nigga who eats his boogers?
That is fucking extreme.
It's not extreme. That be what it is. That he is the population of men, and this is terrible. He is who the population of men without children are, unfortunately.
Really?
To a degree. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I said it sounded crazy. I'm sorry.
I mean, it does sound crazy, but I understand what you mean. But
because if it's not eating boogers, it's I don't know social cues. If it's not I don't know social cues, it's I'm a little soft and I'm not as masculine. If it's not I'm not as masculine, it's I have some other weird quirk or something. I don't have any personal style. It's something. The eating boogers is the variable that keeps the man out of being the popular choice for most women. It may not be as extreme. Boogers may be on the extreme end of the spectrum, but there are other things that qualify people to still be on that same scale. Let me say it like that. Eating boogers is a very big extreme. However, this is the population of niggas that you're dealing with, whether they're autistic, whether they're not properly socialized, whether they're extreme introverts, whether they're neurodivergent, whether they're it's a bunch of different things that are making it so that women are not able to see them as the most viable option. Granted, I don't agree with women like a Jasmine Brown, who signed up to be Cam Newton's, fourth baby mother, third or fourth baby mother, or any woman who sleeps with Future moving forward, or any woman who sleeps with Nick Cannon moving. I'm not championing those women to say, if I can't find another man, let me go be baby mother number 8, 9, 10, 19, 35, whatever. I'm not saying that either.
Also,
but what I'm saying is, for the population of men who are not being chosen as viable options for husbands, for fathers, y'all have to do some introspection, and y'all have to figure out what it is that is repelling these women away from you and fix it.
Shout out to those who's doing that, though.
Facts. But where is it? I know, because I want niggas to see this eating booger shit, because I just can't for the life of me understand why people are excusing it. I don't hear no men talking about how this man is crazy. Like, there's
some men are dick riders. But before we continue on that that wasn't the video. The point of that video, though, it was talking about the narrative of black families have a matriarchal system, which is bullshit.
I mean, how is that bullshit? It's the truth.
It is bullshit.
If only 55% of black men are living with all of their children, that means the other 45% have matriarchs in there. I mean, granted, they're not talking about step parents. They're not talking about step parents, because that's also another thing too. Black men.
No, we're talking about the black family is a matriarchal system, and that is a lie.
You think so?
Yes. Well, black people as a whole is not a matriarchy, especially in America. It's a patriarchy more than anything.
You think so?
I know so. It's definitely a patriarchy.
How?
Who get paid more, black men and black women?
Black men get paid more.
Exactly.
How does that correlate to it not being a matriarchy?
Okay, in government, who's more present, black men or black women? Black men. So, like, where's the patriarchy at?
But what does the government have to do with households?
No, I'm saying black America as a whole is not a matriarchy. But as far as households, I wouldn't even say it's a.
Damn, where is the booger eating? I know I saved it. Where the fuck is it?
But yeah, I wouldn't even call that a matriarchy either.
But you're not again. How is it not?
Okay, so you have so say if there's no man in the house. What if that mother has relatives, family members, or siblings, brothers, sisters, and shit who are present? Would it still be a matriarchy there or patriarchy?
Wait, what you say?
For example, there's a single mother who comes from a large family, has a father has her father or uncles or brothers. How is that family a matriarchy when there's male figures present in that single mother's life?
Because so when it comes to patriarchy versus matriarchy, who is responsible for the overall well-being of the family? In most other cultures, the person who is responsible for the well-being of the family is usually a father. The grandfather started a business, passed it down to the father. The father either kept up the business or sold the business, created something, passed it to the son. That is a patriarchal system where the fathers are responsible for building a foundation for which the family is built.
Okay.
Black culture, black families do not have that.
They do actually.
It's usually the mothers. It's the mothers who end up making shit. And I'm not even gonna.
Also, wait. So you mentioned business. What's the percentage of black men and black women who own businesses?
More black women own businesses than men now.
You sure about that?
Yes.
In America. Because I still think it's black men. Because it drives the point of patriarchy right there.
By race and sex. Oh, that's Canada. I don't want to know about Canada. Men and white individuals disproportionately own businesses compared to their population share, while women and radicalized groups like black individuals are underrepresented. Oh, so we don't. Okay, what ethnicity has the most business owners? White. Let me see. A look at black-owned businesses in the U.S. Okay. Excuse me.
He also had another video that.
All right, wait. Here it goes. About 3% of U.S. businesses were black or African-owned in 2022. So only 3% of businesses are black owned. So out of the 3%, I want to know how many is men versus how many is women. They don't have it separated by sex.
He also has a video that kind of highlights the argument.
Okay, so I take it back. 54% of black owned firms had men as their majority owners, while 39% had women as majority owners, and another 7 had equal male and female. They tend to be middle-aged. A majority have 4-year college degrees. Okay, so I take that back.
Yeah,
I take that back.
Yeah, and again, it's like I said, a single black mother has has a child and they have a large family with brothers and shit, they're gonna lean on them more than themselves, if anything, you know?
You said what?
No, I'm saying there's situations where it's like, say it's a single black mother who's raising a child or children, and they come from a large family, and they have brothers, uncles, fathers, and grandfathers that's present in their lives. That's good. They're gonna lean on them to raise that boy right.
Yeah, but that's discipline. That has nothing to do with actual like. That has nothing to do with actually structuring the home. Yes, single mothers who have brothers and uncles or whatever that can step in and help substitute that male figure in that child's life. Yes, that is a thing. But when it comes to the overall structure of how that household is ran, it is the mother who is taking care of that.
Yeah, but again, she's still leaning on patriarchy, not matriarchy.
That is not leaning on patriarchy. That is leaning on male enforcement. That's not patriarchy. That's male enforcement. Y'all are the cops. Y'all are the muscle. You're not there to tell the kid. Like, this is the thing. Those brothers or the uncles of the child is not telling the child what they should be when they grow up. It's not helping the child make decisions for education or college or things that they should be doing. It's not navigating who that child marries or what that child does as it pertains to relationships. They're literally only there when the mother needs to enforce the rules that she is setting. She is setting a rule in the house and the kid is not listening, so she recruits the uncles to come and reinforce her rules. That is a matriarchy.
It's not just rules, but it's also how to navigate in life as a man. Because even if the mother's there, that mother cannot teach that child to be a man. That is a fact.
But a lot of men don't learn how to be men from their uncles.
Some men don't have uncles. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying even the ones who do. A lot of the ones who have uncles, they still are not peak masculinity because it's part-time. It's not full-time. You don't get to see that man navigate every aspect of adulthood. You get to see them in bits and pieces, which is the same argument about black men not cohabitating or black men having kids that are not residential. That is the whole point. Just because you pick the kid up, drop the kid off, take them to practice and all of that, you're not there in the moments where that kid needs to see a dynamic between a mother and a father, to see a dynamic of arguments. Like me personally, I've never seen my mom disagree with the man. Like, I know my stepdad is around and all of that. Like, my step pops is around and all of that, but I never really seen them have to navigate a situation. There are situations where he did what he wanted to do, and there are situations when my mom did what she wanted to do. But actually seeing in real time a couple have to navigate a situation, it's foreign. I had to learn that on my own through failed relationships, and then talking about those failed relationships in therapy, and then creating a means of conflict resolution. That's the word I'm looking for. I've never had to see my mom navigate conflict resolution, because it's either situations where she just completely gave up and just was like, you know what, I'm gonna just let it go, and vice versa. So those are things that kids need to see to be able to be fully functioning adults. You don't just let people loose in the world without skills like conflict resolutions, without skills like what's that other word I'm looking for? I can't really fucking think about it, but it's just certain things that no amount of weekends and holidays and things like that is gonna allow a kid to learn those things. They're still gonna be put at a significant disadvantage.
I mean, not when their family is a literal tribe. And that's the point that I'm making. Because there's kids who didn't have their father in their life. They have a family to lean on, not just their mother. You know what I'm saying? Because I came from that. You know what I'm saying? So. And again, not many have the experience that I had growing up and shit. You know, so it's like,
yeah, but I mean, but again, I'm pretty sure, and this is no dig to you, but I'm pretty sure that what your male cousins saw in their father, you may not have seen being the nephew. There are certain things that they are able to reference that you don't have that same reference because you weren't there.
of course. But
No matter how much your uncles may have been involved in your life, no matter how much they may have been there to help your moms at the time, there are still things that you missed out on because of that. Because granted, I had my uncles in my life too. Because like my steppops didn't really come around until I was like 13. Around I was around like 12, 10 to 13. But before that, it was my uncles. And granted, it's almost to a point where I have a closer relationship with my uncle than his own kids because I'm 8 years older than his oldest kid. So I was like fake his first kid. So when his kids, you know, kind of be saying certain things, I be having to say like, I don't know what kind of experience y'all had with him, but when he was around for me, it was lit.
Yeah,
it was lit. But I say all of that to say, it's not the same because no matter how much my uncles may have been there for me, they were just there to reinforce the shit that my mother was already teaching me and instilling in me and all of that stuff. They weren't introducing anything new. And then again, I never had to see them make a decision about where I was going to go to high school or where I was going to go to college or anything like that. So I've never had to see them navigate certain things. So it's just not the same. It's supplementary, yes, but it's not the real thing.
But being that, but being that I didn't have my father in my life, I would say being around my cousins and my uncles was vital for me because it taught me how to navigate and how to make decisions in my own life. Because there was no way my mom could teach me how to be a man. In my circumstances, I had to figure that shit out on my own through trial and error, basically, or the advice I got from male figures in my family, basically. And then that's also what I mean why she leaned on them too, because she didn't have the answers for that, you know. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily want to make it too personal. That's a conversation for not on the air. But
true.
I don't know. I don't think he was done though. Let me at least give him the.
There was another video that he has there that he goes more in depth about the narrative of black matriarchy and stuff like that.
I don't know if I'm interested. I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't even know if I'm interested.
Simple. Get married first. Data consistently shows that children raised in two-parent married households have better outcomes across the board. Number 2, protect against unwanted pregnancies. Birth control is not taboo. It's a tool. Women should use it if they are not ready for motherhood. Protecting yourself is not weakness. It's wisdom. Number 3, stop using abortion as birth control. Again, in 2022, black women had nearly
this is why why are you fucking demonizing women for having abortions? Why does it fucking matter?
But isn't that,
why is this a conversation?
He sounds red pillish there, but I want to ask a question. But isn't abortion birth control in a sense? Or is it not?
It is a form of birth control because most abortions happen before the second trimester. If I remember the stats correctly. Let me see. When do most abortions occur? Yes. So most abortions occur in the first trimester. So it doesn't matter how many it doesn't matter how many pregnancy terminations women want to have. If the goal is to not have kids out of wedlock and not have kids, and not have kids for just any kind of man.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the means in which you do it, whether it's abstinence, whether it's birth control, whether it's condoms, whether it's contraception, whether it's it does not matter. If you are not contributing to the out of wedlock childbirth rates, it should not fucking matter. But because these men need a reason to point their fingers and make it a woman's problem, they're gonna add this into the mix. It's fucking dumb. It's dumb.
Fair. That is fair. I would say the biggest thing to solve all that, well, America got a sex education problem, so that right there would solve everything when it comes to teenage pregnancy and all that shit.
240,000 abortions, accounting for almost 40% of the national total. Abortion shouldn't be a backup plan for repeated risky decisions. Number 4, boost the self-esteem of childless women. Too often, the community pressures women to believe their only worth is in motherhood. But the 39% of black women without children should be empowered to wait until they find the right man, enter marriage, and build strong family structures. The real issue in our community isn't fatherlessness, it's the marriage and procreation patterns.
So imagine saying it's not fatherlessness, it's marriage and procreation patterns, but you have yet to address the men. The 55 or what was the
46 or something like 46 or 44.
No, the ones that are non co-residential. Where is it? What's 26 plus 18? So why are you not addressing? Yeah. So why are you not addressing these people? Why you can address women having abortions? You can address women not having kids out of wedlock. You can address women having making sure they take birth control, but you're not addressing the men for not marrying and living with the women they're having kids with. This is where I get annoyed. This is where I get the fuck annoyed.
But he didn't mention marriage though. He said that.
Who is responsible for marriage? Men or women?
Men.
So where is the conversation about them? You don't just gloss over, oh, women. No, what he specifically said was, women make sure we gonna run it back.
Yeah, he was talking about abortion and then marriage. Like,
no, we gonna run it back.
Well,
we're gonna run it back because he did not address the men. He's not addressing the men.
Unwanted pregnancies. Birth control is not.
He's not addressing the men.
To address the solutions, especially for the 39% of black women who don't have children yet. Those women still.
You said that. Fatherlessness, because you say this.
You want to break the cycle, we also have to address the solutions, especially for the 39% of black women who don't have children yet. Those women still have choices to protect themselves from becoming another out of wedlock statistic. Here's a couple of solutions for building better outcomes for.
The solutions are addressed to the 39% of women who do not have children yet. He's only addressing the women.
Wait, let me continue. He said more than that.
Black women.
He said those women should be empowered. He said that.
No. This is how he started the argument. Addressing the 39% of women. So these solutions are being given to the women, not to the men.
Number 1, marriage before children. The single strongest way
that is to women.
Yeah, wouldn't that be addressing the 39%?
No, right. You're addressing the women. You're not addressing the men.
But he also said in the community.
The responsibility does not. No. You're not paying attention.
Yet, those women still have choices to protect themselves from becoming another.
Those women still have choices to not become out of wedlock mothers. He is addressing the women. Why do you, and this is my problem with the manosphere, with Red Pill. Y'all think that women are so prone to being controlled that you don't have no smoke for the men who are, what is saying, non-co-residential? You have yet to discuss the men who are non-co-residential as a solution. You go directly to the women who don't have kids because you want to tell them what to do.
Well, he's not telling them what to do.
Yes, he is. These are the solutions for the women who are the 39% who don't have kids. These are how you help. Number 1 is marry before you carry. Number 2 is be on birth control. Number 3.
He didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
He didn't say that. He said empower. He said as a community.
No. You're not listening. You're not listening.
Talk about how you have combat fatherlessness because you say it's such an issue in this country and you don't want to answer the question.
I'm happy to answer the question, provided that you acknowledge that there is a problem.
Larry, get the fuck out of here. Shifting the focus to marital and procreation patterns forces accountability across the board.
Shifting the focus on pro-marital. Keep gonna say it again.
And also threatens that power. But if we want to break the cycle, we also have to address the solutions.
If we want to break the cycle, we have to address the solutions.
Especially for the 39% of black.
Especially for the 39% of women who do not have kids. Why are those women the fucking focus when it is a problem of the men having kids in multiple? Why are we the key to the solution? If we're not a matriarchal system, why are the women's the one in fucking control of all of this shit? Why does all the power rely with us?
You gotta let him continue.
Black women who don't have children yet. Those women still have choices to protect themselves from becoming another out-of-wedlock statistic.
Women.
Here's a couple of solutions for building better outcomes for black women in our families.
Women.
Number 1, marriage before children.
Women, don't have the man's baby if he's not married to you.
The single strongest way to reduce non-marital births is simple. Get married first.
How can women make men marry them? That's not nothing we can do. That is for the man to be told to value marriage.
True.
But yet he's talking to women.
Data consistently shows that children raised in 2-parent married households have better outcomes across the board. Number 2, protect against unwanted pregnancies. Birth control is not
taken by women.
Not taboo. It's a tool. Women should use it if they are not ready for motherhood. Protecting yourself is not weakness, it's wisdom. Number 3, stop using abortion as birth control.
Only women get abortions.
Again,
He
in
did contradict himself
2022, black women had nearly 240,000 abortions, accounting for almost 40% of the national total. Abortion shouldn't be a backup plan for repeated risky decisions. Number 4, boost the self-esteem of childless women. 2,
boosting self-esteem of all four solutions are addressed to women. Where are the solutions for the men?
Too often, the community pressures women to believe their only worth is in motherhood. But the 39% of black women without children should be empowered to wait until they find the right man, enter marriage, and build strong family structures. The real issue in our community isn't fatherlessness, it's the marriage and procreation patterns. But until
And who is responsible for marriage and procreation patterns?
Well, marriage, men. Procreation, both.
Until we're ready to have that uncomfortable conversation, the deadbeat dad narrative will keep being recycled. Not because it's true, but because it's familiar. It's also profitable and convenient. So moving forward, all of us in the black community should try to do our level best in erasing the deadbeat black father myth. After all the things that I just laid out for you guys in regards to the history, the statistics, everything that we discussed, do you think that the black community is ready to let go of these lies and face the truth? I would hope so. Peace.
By the way, if you look at the comments, it's mostly men that was upset with this.
MM is at his best. Either these kinds of, I don't know what that means. Always with the facts. I used to watch all of those shows with my dad. Who is going to make the slanderer stop talking? The slanderer stop talking, and those guilty of libel regarding the deadbeat black father issue. When Tasha K slandered Cardi B, she got sued and silenced. The best way to stop this is legal consequences. Where are people? Where are people disagreeing?
Because he responded to a video. He put out another video in response to the men that was arguing against him about, because he was disputing that there is no matriarchal.
You're either debunking, disproving, or just showing blatant lies people believe is true. Like they used to say in the 90s, they just don't hear it though. Keep up the... Who is disagreeing with him? Out of 17 comments, none of them disagree.
There's another video on his YouTube channel that followed up with this one.
So again, I say, it's so easy for a man to want to tell women what the fuck to do, but you have yet to say anything about men, black brothers. We need to value having all of our kids with the same woman and being married. We need to find value in finding appropriate partners. No.
Oh, this clip right here. I didn't know so many black men feel... This one right here. Oh, let me take over real quick. Right here. This one.
Let me address this. Honestly, guys, black men, I did not know there was that many black men that thought or still think that the black community is a matriarchy. Reading the comments, me and my friends, and I was like, man, I put the statistics out there to show you guys that we don't even meet the expectations of a man.
So he had another video called Black Matriarchy. So they're not responding to that. They're responding to something else. I mean, maybe we could watch that another day. Black Matriarchy. I'll think about it. But after this display,
damn, I gave you the wrong video. Shit.
I'm not interested. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not interested in his content. Just from that one video alone, you're biased. You're a male empowerment podcast, and that's fine. Like, if you want to edify and stand up for black men, by all means, everyone needs a niche. It is what it is. But the fact that you spent the whole video showing and used a fucking, like, you had nothing to say about why black men are the least likely to have all of their kids under one roof. You have yet to acknowledge that.
I mean,
and you put it directly on the women. That already shows me your bias. That already shows me that this is for a specific audience. This is intended for a specific audience. So I'm not interested. I'm just not interested in the. I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
No, I understand. But that's why I was also filling in the blanks for this video as to why it's at this number right here.
Filling in what blanks?
I'm saying, like, again, like I was saying, it's poverty, race is poverty, incarceration.
But again, this is not about. Or maybe it is.
It's a big part of it. Like, there's no way that can be disputed. And Latino, and trust me, and Latinos.
Poverty, I just don't understand why poverty makes you have multiple kids with multiple. If you're already poor and you already have kids, why the fuck are you choosing to go have more kids somewhere else? That doesn't make sense.
These motherfuckers are stupid. When you're in poverty, you're not gonna make the right choices or decisions. You're not gonna have the right education on how to move and shit.
But just again, when it comes to other races of people being in poverty, if they all end up having kids within the same household, that means whatever they get of public assistance, they're gonna get more of. Women who have 2 kids get more food stamps than women with 1 kid. Women who have 6 kids get more food stamps than the women with 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a father of children in multiple households, your multiple kids are all suffering because they're only gonna get but so much in each of these households.
Wow.
So poverty does not make sense as a reason why a man will say, I have a kid here and we're poor and we only get $200 in food stamps, but then I'm also going to go over here and create another family to where they're only going to get $200 in food stamps when I could have just stayed with the one woman I had both kids, and then got $400 in food stamps.
All right, I misspoke.
That doesn't make sense.
No, I misspoke. My bad. I misspoke. Men who are in poverty, they don't stay with that woman for sure. There's men who do have kids. There's men who do have kids from different baby moms and shit, and those are the ones that have the jobs. You're right. They deserve to get criticized. Like, there's something wrong with them if you got multiple baby moms and shit.
And that's the whole point of the stat. That is the whole point of the stat.
But that's the 26% right there.
Right. The 26% that he did not address. He wants us to clap for the 55, but y'all are in last place. Why are we clapping for niggas in last fucking place?
That's irrelevant because that kills the stereotype about black fathers as a whole. It does. That's the majority statistic right there.
I have to just accept the fact.
You can't downplay that. That's what I'm just trying to tell you.
Black men are just so, and I hate to say it like this, but it really just comes across that black men are just so, I don't want to say attention starved.
Black men are not centered in a positive light. They're more so demonized. Same with black women, too.
But black women are not asking for niggas to clap for us for doing, like the 39% of women who don't have kids, we're not out here asking for niggas to applaud us. We're just doing what the fuck we know we're supposed to do.
Of course.
But for some reason, black men who do what they are supposed to do, they need fucking applause. That doesn't make sense. Why are the 30%? Okay, so the fact that one of his solutions is, we ought to empower the women who actually did the right thing more often than the other one. We ought to empower. That means that they have not had any consideration the whole time. No nigga has ever applauded me for making it to my age without being a baby mother. If anything, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Why don't you have kids?
I mean, they look at me and say, yo, why don't you have kids? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because it's two different things. A man who doesn't have kids is an indicator of, it sounds fucked up, but it's an indicator of no woman trusted you enough to want to have your kid. Because if there's a plethora of quote unquote ain't shit men or whatever that were trusted with procreating, then why you, a good guy, were not trusted to procreate?
Doesn't mean I'm trusted. I feel like I'd rather live my life before I settle down and have children. That's a personal decision for me.
But that's what I'm saying. The assumption from the outside looking in is, why hasn't and this is kind of fucked up of how they think of women, because it's like a woman didn't even try to trap you with a kid, like how they would trap other men. They would trap athletes because they have money and clout. They would trap, people with other things. So why hasn't a woman trapped you with a kid yet? That looks bad on you. But yet me, who I am the one in control of having the kids, I'm not looked at as oh wow, you made the decision not to have just anybody's baby. It's more so, why didn't you have a person's baby yet? And it's like, well, what if I didn't meet somebody that I felt was worthy of having a kid?
I mean, it's society. It's fucked up, you know, for both men and women.
And that is the point. So again, it's going to be two completely different lenses that people without kids are men and women without kids get looked at. So we can't necessarily control that. But what I'm saying is, it's the fact of he wants us to applaud the 55% of black men, yes, which is the majority of black men, absolutely. But they are still in last place.
Fuck if they're last place or not. It's just they're active, and that's what matters the most. Because I was telling my boy, I was telling my homie this. He was saying there's no positive black fathers in the home and shit. I'm like, nigga, I see them every day. Like everybody that we grew up with are active fathers and shit. So
but his statement was in the home, and the stats prove that they are not in the home. So your friend is right. This is what I'm saying. Like, y'all want
but
us.
It's 55% of 26 and 18.
So fucking what? Y'all are the least. It's the y'all are the.
But let's isolate it to just.
I'm hot. Like, I just don't understand why we have to, like, again, why are we required to, like, this is the fucking participation trophy shit. This is black men specifically arguing for participation trophies. Y'all want trophies just for being there, even though y'all are in last place, and that's not cool. I can't clap for somebody in last place. The niggas who are doing right, they're doing right because they want to do right. They get
And to be fair, when it comes to Hispanics, they can also be black as well. So, that also realizes.
But Hispanic has its own category.
I mean, but they're non-white technically, so they can be black. They can be black or brown. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically what they identify with. They identify with Hispanic or they're black.
Well, if that's the case, then I would be
because we all know.
I would want to know how many of the white people are white identifying Hispanic people. I would want to know how that breaks down. Are these like white Anglo-Saxon? Would you call it white, or is it white Latinos that don't necessarily consider, like, how did they differentiate? Because if you could say that about black people, then I would want to know how you would say that about Hispanic. And then multi-race, does that mean biracial? Does that mean, you know, other races? Like, I would want to know what those breakdowns are. But
it could be biracial.
But again, all I'm saying is,
but again,
I could applaud the fathers that are in their kids' lives and active in their kids' lives, but I can't.
I mean, again,
I can't ignore. I can't ignore that I can't ignore the proportions. I just can't. I just can't ignore the proportions,
all the non-co-residential means is they co-parenting, so they're still active either way.
I don't give a fuck. Why are you not there? Co-parent my ass. Why are y'all the most likely to co-parent and not be with the bitches y'all are having kids with? Why is that? Why is nobody addressing that?
You're right, and the simple thing is, like, it could have been anything. It could have been the relationship wasn't right, or they should have never had the kid together. You know, so.
I'm hot. I can't do this. I'm fucking hot and I have a headache and I'm hungry. Oh wow, not 2 hours.
Damn, this was a heated combo.
Not 2 hours.
Literally and figuratively.
I guess I would just say shout out to all the niggas that I know that they have all their kids with one woman, and they living under the same roof as that one woman. Shout out to the men who are married and who value marriage. Shout out to, you know, the men who, you know, they grew up in certain circumstances and they decided that they were gonna do the complete opposite. Shout out to the 39%. I mean, I know my major friend, like my close friend group, none of us have kids at this juncture. I mean, I know one has a step kid, but You know, shout out to the shout out to us, like shout out to the 39%. And I just don't.
Shout out to the homies who struggle adjusting to being a father, but still get it done.
Shout out to them niggas too. Right. And I mean, and shout out to the men who, you know, and I can't say that I don't have sympathy for the ones who want to be in their children's lives. I don't want to say that because...
Oh, no, I have no respect for niggas who's not in their kids' lives at all. I have zero respect for them.
I mean...
Because to me, you're not a man, period. I have zero respect for that shit. Because there was no excuse to leave that kid by themselves. And that's something personal to me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like that's fair, but I can't go that hard because I know of a situation where he wanted to be in his kid's life and the mother really and truly did everything within her power to, like, literally every single thing she could do within her power to make it so that the kid could not be in the life. And when he did start getting to a point where he was like fighting for custody and going back and forth to court and all of that, like, it was a very tumultuous situation to where not only was he exhausted, but also the kid was exhausted. So I know that there are situations where that as well has happened. Yeah. However, the simple way that he could have avoided that would have been you could
impregnate.
Exactly.
That's what the homie tells me too. Shout outs to him for that.
So that much I will say, but I can't get jiggy with somebody who's gonna blame and make it an issue of other women to be responsible for freaking everything else when the stats are right there. The numbers are right there. The people you need to be talking, and I mean maybe it's because it's too late, and I gotta consider that too. Maybe the solutions being directed towards the women without kids is because you want to prevent something from happening versus correcting something that has already happened. You know, Caribbeans usually say prevention is better than cure, so it's better to prevent certain things. But I don't think that him talking to the 39%, they already know. The 39% of women already know. You don't need to lecture them. They already fucking know what to do. They're doing it. That's why they're the 39%. Talk to the niggas. Talk to the niggas. Don't talk to us. Talk to the niggas. And that's it. That's all I gotta say.
That's it.